Isn't it weird? You can pour your time, money, and energy into a growing business and still feel like you're invisible. Here's the truth. It's not because you're working hard enough. It's because in today's world, attention is everything, and you've only got 3 seconds to grab it. That's why short form video ads are the ultimate game changer. It's fast, it's engaging, and when done right, it's a sales machine. Today, I'm turning this episode into an interview with someone who knows exactly how to make it happen. And that's David Tucker, co-creator of Short Star Video. He's sharing the secrets behind the 90-day system that's helping businesses like yours go from stuck to scaling. So welcome to Embers Rising. Welcome, Dave.
Thank you. I get to be the co-host and the interviewee today. One day I'm going to turn this around, though, and I'm going to interview Wendy.
That's good.
So if you want to know things about Wendy, DM me the questions, and we'll dig deep into what's going on. But this is a different sort of episode for us.
It is. And if you're just joining us and this is a new episode for you, I'm Wendy Jae, and I am joined here by my incredible husband, my partner, my co-host, my partner in growth.
Crime.
In all things, and in-house chef, David Tucker. And today we really wanted to share more about one of our signature programs, Short Star Video, and how it can transform your business. A lot of the times here on Embers Rising, we share a lot more personal development, motivational, adventurous stories, what we're up to in training. And in this, and in the last couple of episodes, we've even talked about AI. And in this episode, I was like, let's really break down what Short Star Video as for our listeners so they can really understand what it means to maybe change their strategy when we're looking at the new year when it comes to short form video. So grab a pen, take some notes, because this episode is getting started. And I really want to say, Dave, before we dive into this, first of all, I always have to take a moment and just acknowledge our listeners, and that's you. And you're not here to waste time or play small. You're here because, hey, listen, you're ready to grow. You're ready to adapt. This is a new year and you want to make moves fast. And whether you're, tuning in on a commute, you're listening to us on a workout, or you're in between calls, we want you to know that we see you and we're here for you. And we are watching you through our DMs and our comments, wherever you are at. So thank you for choosing time with us to press play and join us in part of the Embers Rising community of people who are taking action. And today's episode is designed to help you do just that. So, Dave, this is a great episode.
It is. And, I got to say to our listeners, this feels a little uncomfortable, right? Just because sometimes when you talk about something, you don't want to self-promote, you don't want to sell.
Yeah.
And yet we're Embers Rising, and our expertise, a lot of it is in the marketing space. And when you see an ember and you're able to throw gasoline on it and it's not only rising, it just explodes forward, sometimes you feel like you have to share that. So I'm going to try and make this as educational for business owners on how to develop a new lead gen channel, because that's really what marketing does, right? And make it so that you at least take away enough information that if you wanted to try and go it your own, you could do that.
Yeah.
And then if you needed some assistance, we're here to help. So that's my prayer and hope for this episode, is that it doesn't come off to you as hey, these people are now moving into the sales machine.
Yeah, we're not, I want to say, here's the reality is every single year, it gets harder and harder to stand out when we're talking about anything that we're doing in life. Whether you're an ultra runner, whether you're in marketing, whether you're a painter, whether you're a musician, attention spans and competition is everything. And I think when we're talking about Short Star Video, if you don't know Dave and I's history, we've been in the marketing world for, I don't know, Dave,
100 years,
a couple of decades, if not more. And we continue to adopt and change our programs as we have gone along, and projects and clients that we have helped scale. This particular program is what I wanted to dive into, like I said, just to help you and businesses know what the heck it is and why it matters, and why now is it trending, and will it fall off on a trend. So this is where I've kind of put together my list of interview questions here, because I think this tool is changing the game if you do it right. And I think it's your chance to break through that noise if you can set it up right, it's connected right, and this hits your audience in a way that is actually more authentic than just a stock video ad. And I want you to talk about that. And that's why we're talking about this today, because we're here because of Embers Rising. We want to help you grow. We want to help you fuel the flame. And if you take these strategies and apply it, or take it to your ad manager, or you want to work with us, we're here for you. And I think this episode is packed full of exactly that. So let's jump in, Dave. Can I?
Yeah, awesome. Let's roll.
First question first is, what the heck is short star video?
Right. So short star video is really genesis of doing work in the advertising space. And, we've all run the YouTube ads before, and we've seen, frankly, mediocre results, right? And so we were working with a financial services company back in the end of 2023, and they had sort of this mandate that they needed to generate cold leads, but they wanted to stay out of social media, and there weren't a lot of channels for the thing that they had, and search ads just weren't cutting it, right? And so I started to explore a YouTube Shorts format advertising. And the thing was, there was no such thing as advertising in YouTube Shorts back then because it wasn't an ad channel in the Google Ad Network. But lo and behold, they're actually working on it behind the scenes, right? And so I set up some mobile-only campaigns in the Shorts network, and they took them, right? Not only did they take them, but they started showing them at scale. And unfortunately, the owners of that service, that company, they just didn't see the vision, right? And so it sort of got chopped, fell on the table. But I saw enough great results to know that it was a thing it just needed to be focused on. And so it was really born out of the conversations of how can we take any business and create a new lead gen channel. And video is emerging. Everybody's running some sort of video ads, but they're getting mediocre results most of the time, right? Because creative is the thing that is the biggest difference in the efficiency of the ad campaign.
So what you're saying is short star video ads is a particular type of video ads?
Right. So short form, in a nutshell, short form video ads, if you want to think of like Reels, right? Or you want to think of YouTube Shorts, or you want to think of vertical LinkedIn ads. Think mobile ads, though. That's the way I was thinking how to do something that was primarily mobile. And, you could reach or penetrate the audience that you wanted to see your ads. And so there's a lot of ways of doing that. But just example, in the YouTube network, you can actually like target your competitors or complementary type content and make sure that your ad comes up before that content, after that content, during the stream, depending on settings, those sorts of things.
How many ads are being shown a day? How many ads are we being shown a day?
You mean as humans?
Yeah.
Know that number, right? But we all know it's massive. And we're all really sick of them, right? Like it's just swipe, swipe, swipe. You don't want to see them until you start watching a piece of content that's engaging, that reaches you. And the fact that it's an ad like falls by the wayside. Doesn't really matter because it's talking directly to you. And that was the big problem with most short form video ads. You just take like Google, they have a video ad builder where they put together some pictures, some text, and they show you a bunch of B-roll BS. And most people just swipe on that, right? They just don't want to see it.
I know with the algorithms, the more I would say on Instagram specific for me, I have seen a lot of ads tailored towards the things that I like. And I will see an ad that, wow, this is about viral strategies or content or marketing or AI or adventure running or ultra running, that I can tell is targeted towards me. And I am interested because now I actually feel like they're speaking to me when it's done right. So, aren't most businesses running already, though, these video ads? Like, what makes this so different? I mean, if they're already running short form video ads, what makes ShortStar so different?
So that's where my journey sort of led me, with some conversations to other ad managers. And I'm like, are you guys running video ads and what's the result? And it's always been like a back burner sort of thing. They're like, yes, we're running video ads. We're just using the AI. We're using the creative that comes up that's stock. We don't see a lot of action. We're not putting a lot of money into it. And then, you listen to someone like Gary Vee or read his new book, Day Trading Attention. If you're in business, I don't get paid by Gary Vee, but that is a must-read book. And in Day Trading Attention, they really focus on the fact that Gary built his entire brand, his entire business, his entire life around underpriced advertising, right? Underpriced attention. And so that was the thing that I was seeing is, first of all, these ads were like in the nickel per click range, right? Where a search ad maybe $3 a click. But those other ad managers, they just weren't seeing any conversion. And the problem was, first of all, the creative sucked, so people just swiped through it. Second of all, they didn't put enough budget into it, so they were only showing it a few times a day. And third, they weren't leveraging all the different ways that those ads can layer against content that viewers are actually already watching, right? If you're interested in motivation and you're watching Brendan Burchard and Tom Bilyeu, those sorts of people, all of a sudden, if we're running ads for you as a coach, right, like a life coach or a business coach, those targeted ads show up in that content and you're like, this person's actually helping coach me in the thing that I want to get better at, right? Because you can only go so far just watching videos.
So I want to break this down. So if you're listening, what I think David's saying is, and to correct me if I'm wrong here, is you're saying that ad managers can create video ads. They are creating video ads, but they're not creating video ads that are targeted towards the thing that you like.
Not only that, but it's complicated, right? Like everything.
Simplify it for us, though.
So I'm going to have to simplify it by making it more complicated and then breaking it back down. And the thing is, most ad managers are doing it to check the box so that they can tell the client, yes, we're running video ads. We got you covered, right? But in the back of their minds, they're like, how could I scale this up? And the answer is, it's the creative. And the challenge is, in the ad networks, there's multiple types of videos. In other words, clickable, non-clickable, in-stream, out-stream, bumper ads, right? So there's all these different campaign formats that you need to set up. And then they need individual creative, right? So they need it horizontal, they need it vertical, they need it square. And then you need multiple types of creative because you can't just create one graphic, one podcast, one piece of anything and expect it to be great. And so the complication becomes, even to hit it at a minimal level, you're creating 40, 50, 60, 80 pieces of ad creative. And frankly, most ad managers, they don't get paid to do that.
And they don't have the time.
Yeah. Their expertise is managing ads, right? Their expertise is not creating creative.
And so what you're saying is short start video is like an exclusive expertise for ad managers or business owners that could add this program onto their existing advertising suite.
Exactly. So in 90 days, we scale up all of this ad creative. Oftentimes, it's close to 200 pieces of ad creative. We show them how to get it in their ad manager console and work with them to tweak the campaigns. And then within 90 days, the ad manager can go back to doing what he does best, but he's got the creative that's actually working, and we've supported them the entire duration. So generally we work with like agencies and ad managers, but directly with businesses too, like introduce us to your ad manager because we're not trying to steal their business. We're trying to make them more successful.
Yeah, enhance it. So how does this program directly increase leads and sales?
Right. So you just have to think of it as turning on a faucet in a whole new lead generation channel, right? And it's like all of the potential lead gen channels that are out there, organic, search ads, programmatic, referral, email, there's all these different ways to generate eyeballs. And so this is just another channel. And it's not like you're going to die without it. But to grow, right, you need to conquer different types of channels and become proficient at them. So it's just like email marketing. If someone doesn't have a lead capture in an email program, they're missing out on a ton of business. And the businesses that grow that channel and have tens of thousands of engaged clients, prospects in that list, it's like turning on a faucet at the beginning of every month, because you send an email out instantly, you get to connect with your audience.
So what I'm hearing is you may be already running video ads, or businesses may already be running video ads. What I'm hearing is the video ads are not converting because the ad manager doesn't have time to create this expertise and put time and energy into these short form video ads that actually convert. And if businesses were to take on a program like this, or ad managers or agencies to take on a program like this, your job is to help them drive direct leads and sales that convert through the expertise of this short form video ads.
Yeah, exactly. And it depends on the type of business. Some campaigns are more awareness, some are more direct conversion, right, in terms of making sales. So that depends on the type of business. But the bottom line is, once you have a proof of concept that this works, then your ad manager is like, we need to scale this up in terms of budget, because if you're tracking your customer acquisition cost correctly, you can start to see for every dollar you spend how many dollars you make, right? And that's got to be generally on the positive side. And so, like most email, or like most advertising, done correctly, it becomes like printing money.
So is this for every business? Does every business fall into I need short form video ads?
No, the answer is no. And the answer is no, because there are this is an advanced move, right? And so there are some basic things that you have to cover in terms of lead gen. This wouldn't be your first move as a business per se, right? Like, you could be very successful, but you'd probably already be a content creator. The other thing that's challenging is that we need to create good creative, and generally you don't want to be in the video, right? If you do, like, call me up. Awesome, right? We've got a huge advantage, but most people just shy away from that, and they're not good on camera. They don't want to be on camera. So that's the other challenge. We work around making, voiceover type videos, really good creative. Some people have their own video from their product, service, or business. And some people don't. We can work with all those circumstances.
So tell us the process. Like, once you onboard someone into the program, what are our expectations?
Right. So first of all, we need to learn the DNA of the business, right? We need to deeply understand what you do, who your customers are, what their buyer personas are, where their triggers are, where they live. And that's why I said, as a first move, right, if you're a brand new business, you might not have all of that data. And so this would just be a way to blow money. But if you have that data, then after we do that, we come up with some concepting of what the creative is going to look like. And then we go to work creating it, right? Creating the different sizes, versions, time slots, because all of those different versions run from 6 seconds up to 58 seconds, right? There's like different ad slots, so we need to version it that way. And then we just slowly start to launch them one at a time, build it with the campaign manager in mind. And then we simultaneously look at where we're driving traffic, right? Because if you drive traffic to your homepage of your website, your conversion sucks, right? Like, if you're doing that right now, stop doing that and build landing pages. And even if you have landing pages, there are always ways to tweak them to work better. And so that's the next step. Third step is follow-up or retargeting, right? And so you get people to your website, they don't buy. Through retargeting, then you can start seeing additional ads, follow-up ads in different pieces of content in different networks. We've all seen that ad that's like, hey, there are those guys again, and I went to their website. I was interested in what they're doing. And then the last part of the process, depending on what type of business you are, is the sales script, right? And so we help sort of buff out the sales script, so it's in alignment with the video and the message and all of that.
I was just going to ask, like, how do you ensure the content really aligns with the client's brand?
Understanding the brand and then working with them. So, it can be a little rough the first couple of pieces, and then their feedback, you're like, oh, I know how they feel about their brand, not just how I feel about it, how I see it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Kind of. It's a little bit complicated, but it sounds like, listeners, there are several steps in creating the brand, and then there's a follow-up with the targeting, checking on lead pages, doing a retargeting. I can see that ad managers may shy away from this or don't have the time, or it may be an additional program that they would want to add on for their client because they just plain don't have the time to manage this. So it sounds very, very cool. Can you share, and I know you have, a success story with us?
Right. We work with all different kinds of businesses. And so we've worked with, for example, a nonprofit. And running these video ads, we're able to get new first-time donations. Over the last year, they've been averaging about $5,000 a month. And just new first-time donations, which if you're in the nonprofit space, you get their email. And your lifetime value, your follow-through on that is exponential compared to your initial deposit there. We work with travel companies like a destination travel organization like a ski resort. And again, just running ads into their what we call flight markets, right? Where they have direct flights to their resort. Bringing that awareness has been huge in terms of ROI, driving business. We've worked with a financial services company, helping them in a year to achieve almost over $1 million worth of new business through that channel, and a huge lifetime value in that. I'm working with a school right now. It's a technical school down in Texas, and we're just winding up the program. We really maxed out what we can do with Google Ads, and so this is a bolt-on to just drive traffic to a demographic that isn't probably in Google anyway, right? Because you think of the age group that you're targeting, 18 to 24 there. Where are they, right? They're on YouTube, they're on Instagram, they're on TikTok. And so short form ads are perfect for those platforms. And you just can't count on the old style of marketing, right? Like everybody's going to Google. That's just not true anymore.
And are you expanding these short form video ads outside of social channels? Are there other channels you're hitting? We're talking about gaming now has ads, gaming platforms.
They do.
OTTs.
I have not experimented with them yet, just because. And so I know we'll get there. You and I have discussed that as an awesome place to run ads.
Yeah.
Sometimes their ad networks need to mature a little bit, but anytime you can get in front of your audience at a very low rate, and the rates for advertising are usually determined on supply and demand, right? And so if there's a huge amount of demand, but there's very little supply, you get to run your ads a lot very inexpensively. And that's the inverse is true in Google Ads, search ads, right? It's a competitive marketplace. And you may be competing against 10 other companies for the eyeballs. And so they just jack up the price, and whoever is willing to pay the most gets the top spot.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. What else can you share with our listeners about short star video?
So this is a quasi social media play, right? Because the content itself generally is in that social media space. And so it needs to look, feel, act, and react like native content that's in those networks. And that's the other thing about those ad builders, right? It doesn't. It's obvious it's an ad. The other thing is you need to have a social media presence.
The business needs to have a social media presence.
Yeah, it does. Because what happens is someone sees an ad and they don't leave the platform. They go directly to your social media presence. And if you only have 2 posts, they're like, what's going on here, right?
There's no trust.
And so that's sort of one of the qualifiers to success here. You need to have something going on in social media and video.
Yeah.
And if you don't, right, like 2025 is the year to start brainstorming very quickly with your marketing team how to accomplish that, because social media is not a hobby anymore. It's one of the heaviest lead gen channels that there is out there. And we're really just piggybacking with paid placement, right? And that's an easy way to think about this. Like social media works, but it's organic. and it goes everywhere around the world. I want to flood, the Dallas, Texas market in that social media channel with my message. And that's the things that these ads do, right? They don't go out around the entire world unless your audience is global. You can pinpoint it down to 100 square blocks or whatever the minimum targeting requirement is. So you can get really finite, really specific in who's seeing the ads, because, you want people that are going to convert, and you want to spend as little as possible.
One of the things that I know is on the top of every business owner's mind right now is how can they make their business better in this new year. And this is a great time to think about your current ad strategy and where you're wasting money, and the dollars that you are wasting, where is it going? Because you may be getting a report from your ad manager, and like you said, the boxes are checked. But are they converting? Are you missing a whole lot of leads that could be coming in the right place? And I think, why now?
So I'm going to give everybody a secret here, and that is the primary ad channel for most small, medium-sized businesses. Let's not talk about enterprise, but small to medium-sized businesses is the Google Ads network. And Google Ads have migrated from the traditional manual campaigns where you put them together. They've migrated to AI campaigns, right? So Performance Max or Demand Gen. And those campaigns require that there's video ad content in them to run, right? They figure out where to show the ads. You put in your parameters. And that's where you're losing money, because your ad manager's like, I got to check the box to just launch the campaign. So they go into the little ad builder, they slide in some pictures, they put in probably the same sort of message that they're using in search ads, and they hit launch, and then they go, see, video ads don't work. And so if you just take really good ad creative and just fill those 5 slots in like a PMAX campaign, you're going to see incredible results. And then what we do is we just build standalone video campaigns for you outside of the PMAX environment.
Okay.
So the time has come where it's actually required, and it's probably happening for you, but it's just not working because creative is the biggest variable.
So if you're a listener and Dave just blew your mind with all of this tech chat, I completely get you. This is probably what your ad manager understands. Where, David, can people connect with you and ask you more questions about Short Star Video?
Well, every Saturday I do a long run. And so we've been running in the foothills of Boise, Idaho, if you want to go for a run. If not, you can go to shortstarvideo.com and start to explore what's going on there. Or hit me up on LinkedIn, and that is at David J. Tucker. Or you can just put in David Tucker SEO, and I come up everywhere. A big time.
That's awesome. I think if you're ready to take your business to the next level, then you should head over to Short Star Video. I have to make a little amazingness about that, because there's so much going on. I think now is the right time to be thinking as a business owner to really look at your analytics, the data, what you're getting back, the reports here, and really see if there's a way that you can leverage a program like this. And like you said, this isn't for every business, but there are a host of businesses that this can work for. And I say book your discovery call with David. Or come on a run with David on Saturday. Let's go. Stop.
You'll be in front of me for sure. I can guarantee that.
I was just going to say, stop waiting for things to change. I think taking action is the most important thing, especially the new year, new beginning. It's January. You have time to discover if video ads are the right thing for you, and exclusively Short Star Video program to enhance your overall presence in your marketplace. Now, one other question, Dave, who manages this after your client is through these programs?
Right. So primarily we work with people that have an existing ad manager.
Okay.
And that means they're working with your Google ads already. We have expertise in that. That's why we can help set this up, but that's not our goal, right? Just to become your ad manager. It's to bolt on this additional channel and make it work for you.
Wow. That's awesome. Thank you, David, for sharing your insights and giving us a roadmap to video ad success.
Yeah, and I know it sounds geeky, and I just want to follow up on one thing you said,
Yeah.
not to run too long, but this is not for everybody, right? And so in our conversation, when I talk to you, I'm going to ask some very specific questions about your product cost, lifetime value, current customer acquisition cost, price point, and I'll immediately be able to tell you, right, like this is going to work for you or this isn't going to work for you. And I can just say businesses like e-commerce businesses that have this arbitrage of a very narrow profit margin, sometimes this isn't the best thing, for sure, right? Because you have to have at least enough ROI in it to do this at volume. And so if you're making pennies for every sale, like this isn't for you. But if you're like the financial services company that's, initial cost is somewhere around $4,000, what would you spend to make $4,000, right? And if you'd spend $500 on that to get one customer and that was profitable for you, then you break your arm going for your wallet, right? Because you want to spend that as many times as possible. So we'll examine that also. I can come up with that very quickly.
All right. Well, thanks, Dave, for sharing that. If you're listening and this is the first time pressing play and this just blew your mind, this is not a normal episode for Dave and I to share. And you're like, wow, this is so above and beyond me. I totally get you. I'm very simple. I don't understand all the technicalities that David does. This is his specialty. He's been doing this for I don't know how many years, but specifically moving into the Short Star video program the last couple of years, I know you have gained a lot of traction, done a lot of beta testing, and now you're really seeing what works in today's marketplace. So this is just not a normal episode for us. So I just want to say to our listeners, we really appreciate you just showing up for this. And we wanted to share this with business owners that maybe are looking to, step it up in their video ad world of business and driving new leads to their organization, their business, their brand.
And I think it's an interesting episode. People get to sort of dip in and learn a little bit more like, what do these people do anyway? Are they just sitting in that room talking about running and traveling and communication and, all the things that we talk about? But we actually do real work.
It's the most neat thing. Well, it just, again, thank you, listeners. You've got everything you need to succeed here. And it starts with showing up. And you guys have done that. And here's the step to take action is, connect with David on LinkedIn, David Tucker, SEO. Just throw that in LinkedIn. You'll find him. DM him if you have any questions. Or head on over to shortstarvideo.com to learn more. And if this episode sparked something in you, share it with a friend, share it with a business owner, share it with a leader. We would love it if you could rate this episode on Spotify because we are still new. And we'd love it if you could head on over to Apple Podcasts, leave us a review, or subscribe to us on Embers Rising podcast over on YouTube. We would love that. And again, if you have any questions, DM us, leave us comments anywhere you're finding this or listening to this episode. We just want to say we're here for you. We want to encourage you to keep pushing boundaries, keep chasing big dreams, and most importantly, keep rising every single day. That wraps it up, Dave.
Beautiful.
All right. Aloha.
Aloha.